Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it my great privilege to have been invited to this one-day seminar on cybersecurity. I'm always delighted to be with young professionals like you to share some of my thoughts on a subject which is becoming important by the day. I spent more than 15 years now with TCS, but each day there is some learning. I thought I'd learned enough of cybersecurity to relax, but that's never the case. If you plug some loophole somewhere, some other gap takes place. So my first piece of, not advice, but suggestion, but don't relax vigil. Don't ever feel that you have learned everything in cybersecurity. That is probably true of many modern disciplines, that each day there is a development which forces you to read and adapt yourself. This is particularly true of cybersecurity. So the 15 years I spent in TCS has been great learning. Learning not only of where technology can fail you, but also where human beings can fail you. So this is the crux of the matter, that cybersecurity is not all technology or gadgets. It has also a lot to do with human beings. If you forget this, then possibly you will be totally out of sync with what's happening in the cyberspace. So with that preface, I would like to say that if I say a few things which are commonplace, please forgive me. So to build some kind of a background to my presentation this morning. Now, the whole world has become cyber-oriented. I think our children, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren may not ever understand that there was a world where there are no computers. That's the kind of situation we have come to. Even our own grandchildren, not what to speak of great-grandchildren. I mean, I have two grandchildren who make fun of me all the time when I struggle with cell phones or with iPhone or iPads. So they always have something to giggle about and then tell me how I should go about it. But this is true not only of 10-year or 8-year-old kids, but younger children. They all take to cell phones or iPads even much earlier. So I do not think this situation is going to reverse itself for quite some time. I think this is going to worsen. Worsen because it has an adverse impact on people-to-people interaction. You will see a number of cartoons which depict family get-togethers of 6 people, and all 6 looking at their iPhones or iPads instead of talking to each other. There's supposed to be interaction, social interaction. So that kind of human interaction is totally disappeared. And you may moan about it, you may condemn it, but it is a hard reality. How are you going to get out of the addiction of our obsession with cell phones? Just day before yesterday in our office, there is a board which says, don't use a cell phone when you go up the stairs. So I just waited for a moment. As I was going up, I was waiting for a victim whom I can pull up. I had no problem. Within seconds, a lady was coming down with her cell phone on her palm, and she didn't think it was it was any hazard at all. Then when I told her, see this small board which says that you shall not use it, it's in your own interest. Then she felt so bad. Yes, but I'm sure she'll continue to use it, and I am not there. She'll use it. So this is the problem. And then I've seen any number of men, especially women. I dare not say in any other platform. If I write about it, there'll be a huge protest. Number of women drivers using phone. These are menace abroad also. As they're driving, they're using cell phones. And they're crossing the roads again, they use cell phones. So that's the kind of environment in which we live. So forget about it. There are 2 aspects to security: physical security and financial security. So loss of data, loss of life, loss of data. So these two loom large in our use of computers every day. The point is, as a policeman, I can vouch for the fact that conventional crime is slowly yielding place to cybercrime. This is true. I thought this is a very bogus statement until a few years ago. Now more and more I learn. I've got, still I'm active doing one investigation in Gujarat, another investigation in Chennai, given by the High Court. There it was Gujarat investigation was given to me by the Supreme Court of India, and the Chennai investigation given by the Madras High Court. So both the investigations have helped me understand that cybercrime is definitely on the rise. Just now, day for yesterday, there is a report that PwC and Associate Chamber of Commerce or FICCI, they did a survey which clearly indicated that cybercrime was on the increase. I propose to write about it in the next couple of days. But on the face of it, there is an impression that crimes committed either on computers or through computers. You must understand, cybercrime is one which is done against computers or through use of computers. So this study, latest study by PwC and FICCI has revealed that cybercrime is on the increase and that we should take all precautions to combat such crime. May I have some water, please? So this is, close, lid. Give me the lid. Thank you. Oh no, you close it, doesn't it? Okay. So this is true both in the office environment and in the home environment. You must have seen, I spoke at the Hindustan Chamber of Commerce a few days ago when I was surprised at the response. I mean, they came not because I was speaking, but the subject attracted so much attention. There are about 300 to 400 people in the small hall, and then it overflowed. Lot of people, lot of curiosity. So one thing which is heartwarming is that people are ready to listen to the frailties, the weaknesses of computers. So this is one good sign that people are willing to listen to you if you say that there are perils, dangers in using computers. I mean, none of us can ever say or get away with any statement, don't use computers. I think it will be a retrograde step. Nobody is going to listen to you. What people like me and you will have to say, yes, please use computers. This is the order of the day. It makes your life much more liberal, much easier. But then understand the consequences of ignoring fundamentals of cybersecurity. This is all you should say. Don't say that don't use it, but use it with great care. Then I mentioned in this Chamber of Commerce about the harm it causes to children in the context of pedophiles prowling around the world. So this is a very serious threat. Children getting adversely affected by people, criminals, common criminals getting into the cyberspace. So, why I am referring to this is that I'm trying to tell you that there are dangers in the use in cyberspace about which all of us, as professionals, we are obligated. It's our duty, incumbent on us, to spread the message. I'm happy that such seminars are being held to disseminate a message. Now, first talking about you're all professionals. I'm told some of your information security analysts, some are chartered accountants. I'm happy to be speaking to such an audience. So you must first spread awareness that there are dangers. Second, what kind of dangers await you, especially the office friend? These are days of intense competition between companies. So this competition takes very virulent forms. There are some dishonest competitors about whom you should be wary. How are you going to protect all your information assets? The basic thing, you will be required as experts or current experts or prospective experts in the area of cybersecurity. First of all, you should read. Don't stop learning. Don't stop. The amount of material available on the internet on cybersecurity is mind-boggling and keeps on increasing. I get a lot of material, not only from my TCS experience, but I keep reading. Wide spectrum of journals and even newspapers. For instance, the New York Times is a gold mine of information. The London Economist, all of them keep writing about cybersecurity because that's the order of the day. So, how are you? The focus for many of you in the private sector is how to prevent theft of your information assets. Not a day passes in the Western world without some accusation being leveled against some organization or the other about theft of. The US, for instance, which is one of the most highly computerized nations, reports almost every day some theft of data. No. The FBI, I have some contacts with the FBI. I used to have bi-level service. Even now, I read a lot, speak a lot to people who are still in the FBI or who were in the FBI until recently. The FBI is totally committed to doing away with cybercrime, which is an impossible task, but then they are doing their best to prevent cybercrime taking place. So the idea is how to prevent thefts. Here, one prominent factor, that's why I don't believe in these statistics. This study, PwC, this FICCI study says that cybercrime is increasing. I'm very cynical about statistics, whichever is the source. I'm a greatest critic of the Indian police. I'm a great admirer as well as critic of the Indian police to which I belong. There is an annual publication of the government. It's called the Crime in India, if some of you may have been aware. We have what is known as the National Crime Records Bureau in New Delhi, part of the Home Ministry, which brings out an annual publication called the Crime in India. So now we are in 2016. The latest statistics are those which relate to 2014. In 15 will take some more time. The situation is much better now. Previously, they used to take 4 or 5 years to compile the statistics. Now, at least, reasonably current. In the US, what is known as the Uniform Crime Report of the FBI. Uniform Crime Report, for example, 2015, now about August, they released it the previous year, but we take a little more time. The Crime in India gives some statistics. One chapter is devoted to cybercrime. But I'm very cynical of this, not because NCRB wants to suppress information. You know the usual statement, the wisdom of a statement called trash in, trash out. You rubbish in, rubbish out. Because what these National Crime Records Bureau gets, they merely reproduce. National Crime Records Bureau depends on the statistics provided by the state agencies. Each state police force furnishes statistics to the National Crime Records record. So, the adage, garbage in, garbage out, applies mainly to this crime in India. No state, you will agree with me, this is true all over the world, but especially true of India. No government would like to admit that crime has gone up under its control. Each government would like to prove the previous government, the crime was very high and that they have brought it down. I mean, no, it cuts across party lines. You have any government, any party, first position is that no, crime has come down, and then they produce some statistics. I'm not blaming the governments because reporting of crime is very low. Again, this is a phenomenon not only of India, but all over the world. In India, it is particularly bad because of the total lack of trust of the police. This is unfortunate. I belong to the police. I still have a lot to do with the police, but I must confess that trust in the police is low. And more than that, trust in police statistics is very low. That is why I won't go by statistics. Statistics give a general impression. That's about all. Beyond that. So when somebody takes the position that cybercrime is an increase, don't be hoodwinked by it. I don't mean to say that you disbelieve it. At the same time, then don't get overawed by the statement that cybercrime is going up. Cybercrime definitely will go up with more computers. It is as simple as that. When more computers are in play and more players are in cyberspace, naturally crime will go up. So that is not our concern. Our concern should be how to protect ourselves against cybercrime. That's my theme this morning. Cybercrime will continue to be high, maybe even higher later. Don't go by statistics, but then do everything possible to protect your information, protect your children physically against marauders operating in cyberspace. So, how do we protect? First of all, how do we protect our information, our computers, etc., especially in the office environment? There is a lot of laxity, you must admit. What is true of the public, again, true of companies also. No company would like to admit that it has been hacked. Let us face it. That's why I used to tell my chaps in TCS, when a client comes, don't ever take the position that you have had zero incidents. Nobody is going to believe. Nobody is going to believe that you have had no incident. So, nothing wrong in admitting that there have been some intrusions, probably minor, nothing major. Admit there have been some breaches, nothing wrong, but everything wrong if you suppress, if you burk crime, cybercrime. So you must admit there are breaches. What are you doing about plugging those breaches? This is what a client will be interested. Client will refuse to believe that when you say with a straight face, utter falsehood, no, nothing, everything is hunky-dory, we are so protected, 100% no crime. Don't ever take that position. I like to tell people who are in charge of security in private companies. So tell a client that, yes, we had some problems, but we acted at once. First of all, prompt action, and then prompt action to locate who was guilty. Second, prompt action to ensure that it will not repeat itself. Ultimately in life, what is required? All of us commit mistakes. The point is, how do we learn and then ensure that such mistakes do not happen under normal circumstances? So this is a basic truth. What is true to life is true of cyber security also. In the office environment, there's a lot of laxity in the sense that it's a free-for-all. I'm shocked in some offices, a free access to every part of your building. This is totally outrageous. There are certain portions of your office. After all, you're not in the private sector. I'm talking about the private sector. I suppose all of you belong to the private sector. This is not a public office. It's a private office. You have every right to protect yourself, to screen off certain parts of your office. Why should everybody who comes to your office should have access to every region of your office? First of all, this is what I always believed. I had been in the police service. I've had direct experience of VIP security. I believe there's a tremendous analogy between VIP security and computer security. What is basic access? How is VIP security maintained? By preventing access of unauthorized, undesirable individuals to the VIP. If a prime minister or a chief minister goes to a place, not everybody in that place should get access to the prime minister or the chief minister. The police does a lot of vetting. They screen visitors and also ensure that only those who are well-intentioned, who have no evil motive, and who are known to the chief minister, the prime minister, or who have business to deal with the chief minister or the prime minister, have access. So access control is the principle, the rudimentary principle of VIP security. Same way, your computers, there is a person to whom each computer or a laptop or a desktop is allotted, So that person alone will have access to that particular piece of hardware that is protected by password. And so the owner of the instrument, of the machine, has ultimately responsible for any hack, any compromise of the information contained in that computer, encrypted or not encrypted. So if that person is lax, he allows. I had one incident in which when that person, one of the officials, he had a laptop. There was a problem. Then there was a person from the hardware company came, some engineer, assistant engineer. He was inspecting the machine. He went away. This owner of the computer, the employee, he went away somewhere for about half an hour. Meantime, it was child's play for that engineer who came to remove the hard disk and then go. He was caught on the camera. So later on, he was hauled up. But then, why did this man who had possession or who was the owner of that computer, why did he go away? If he did have to go away for some pressing reason, you should have asked another employee of the company to stay there. This assistant engineer is a total outsider. He may have come on official business, but why do you trust him? So he quietly removed the hard disk. Ultimately, he got caught. This is a fundamental flaw of the employee. He didn't bother. He allowed access to his computer, free access to a total outsider. Same as some company buses, I know, which some companies may ferry your employees from the city to outside on a day-to-day basis. You must ensure that only authorized persons travel. I've had instances in which I've been told the unauthorized persons travel and they get ultimately access to the company buildings. These are all avoidable mistakes. There are some unavoidable, this is avoidable. Third, this ID card. So many companies have improved tremendously. I must say that over a course of time, things have improved greatly with the help of the security personnel. So very few companies allow access without ID card of an employee. That has to be strengthened. And then taking things inside your baggage, etc., it has to be scanned. There are some baggage scanners. All this, then CCTVs all over. I concede that this is an expensive proposition. Security does not come cheap. It is expensive. The block of apartments where I live, there's tremendous resistance for installing CCTV, saying it's too expensive, we can't afford. Ultimately, some of us got together, broke down that resistance. We just installed CCTVs at the cost of about 2.5 or 3 lakhs. But I said, this is worth it. Now, I think there's reasonable assurance that anybody thinking of committing a crime, coming in, will think twice before he enters. It's an entirely different matter. This is no foolproof method of preventing outsiders, but still, it introduces certain deterrence, and then it gives a certain tool for us to investigate post-mortem any incident. So, like this, companies who stinge on security are doomed to attacks. Whether you like it or not, there are some companies which feel that is not money worth spending. I got only 5 minutes, is it? Somebody said I can speak only 12:10. Is that right? Is that so? Okay. Okay, I'll have to come for that. Wait till the next conference to finish what I want to say. Okay, then I'll go ahead. I think I'll quickly finish in 5 minutes. Okay, this is as far as physical security is concerned. Then password protection. This is a very common thing. If you compromise, if your password is compromised, then a disaster will lurk. And see the ease with which this WikiLeaks took place. That's the landmark happening in the area of security is the WikiLeaks. And also you must have seen how Hillary Clinton has been hauled over the coals in the US. She nearly lost her candidature because of this use of a private server. The impression is that She used a private server without the usual safeguards. Why are we distinguishing between an official server and a private server? An official server comes with a lot of protection, including firewalls. So it's still not known whether Hillary had enough protection, like in terms of firewalls or access to computers. So FBI, I think somehow in a generous mood has given her a clean chit. Not a clean chit, at least said this violation is not serious enough to warrant an indictment. Bordering, almost she came perilously close to being charge-sheeted by the FBI for this lapse. So understand the gravity of computer security even at that level. So if you want to protect your wealth in terms of information, then you will have to take extreme care. Password protection, access to physical access to computers. One final word, there are some companies which want to protect their financial information. How do we do? First basic thing is that don't put such information on the internet. If you are going to post such information on the basis of which you are going to prepare your annual financial statement, you just cannot put it on a computer which is connected to the internet. This is why the importance of standalone computers. Yes, sometime, somehow or the other, you have to store information somewhere, prelude to your annual financial statement to the board. So how are you going to protect it? You have to keep it in a standalone computer and protect that place. Even that place, like Watergate, people can enter that building and remove the computer. So you have physical protection as well as cyber protection. Have all your most sensitive information in a standalone computer. Ensure that not many people know that where you are storing it. And then wherever you are storing that computer, you have to have the best possible physical protection. So then a final word of caution, something akin to cybersecurity is verification of antecedents of your employees. If you are not going to spend money on finding out what the kind of people are coming into your organization, you are again likely to be devastated. All kinds of people come in, your competitors, for instance. You should be particularly averse to accepting a person from another company. You may be very happy that you have poached on somebody and got a good, valuable asset. It also has it comes with a tag of risk of compromise. This person A, coming from company B, gets into company C. Company C may be very happy. You must remember that A may still owe his loyalty to company B. So how are you going to ensure that he does not get access to all the information you have, which may be useful to your competitor? So first of all, you must do background checks is important, which is expensive again. The check is not the best available. We have certain instances in which the companies have not done enough. So when you choose a person, have his background vetted. This area, this field of background checks, has a lot of holes, but I can vouch for the fact that this area is improving by the day. All these agencies know the perils of loose checks. So they have improved their mechanics, the investigation techniques. So don't stinge money on background checks. And then you should be wary of people coming from other organizations joining your force. You must be absolutely sure that his loyalty is 100%. So you should not be allowed access to all that you have and which may be of interest to the competitor. You can probably take some time before you allow him access to the kind of information which could be passed on to your competitor. I can go on for hours to talk. I must confess that I didn't prepare for this talk. It's just some rambling thoughts. But fundamental to sum up, the whole area of cybersecurity, it's enlarging, expanding. Each day there is something happening in some part of the world which is of relevant to you. So don't ever be smug or complacent that you have learned everything. But keep learning and then sensitizing your employees, your colleagues, very important. You have to keep on. It's kind of indoctrination. Whether you like it or like the word or not, you have to have indoctrination of your employees so that they do not relax. And then finally, it may be harsh to say, but whoever commits a violation of security will have to be dealt with severely. I think we Indians are very polite, very kind, and we don't want to offend anybody. So we take lightly a violation. That doesn't apply. In VIP security, anybody committing a violation is immediately out. Same kind of rigidity, stern outlook, stern consideration of any violation should be the order of the day. It's unpleasant, I don't deny that, but if you're going to condone a violation, then that invites a lot of perils. Thank you very much. Sorry if it's been rambling, but then questions for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Okay, please. Yeah, please. Yeah, don't wait for the mic. I can hear you. You're accusing me of something which I should not have done, or?
One of your friends had a problem. First impression what we had was he was not able to understand what the problem was, and we gave him a lot of information.
Okay.
And finally, we lost around 25,000 rupees. So they nailed down something and said that this guy from Bangalore has done this crime, and they've asked us to help them to go to Bangalore, and then they will spend a week's time
at your expense.
Nail this, yeah, at my expense. So you're asking us to report all these incidents, but if the governing authority is not supportive, then what can a person who doesn't have computer knowledge do?
I quite appreciate things are improving, not as fast as we would like them to be. In the city police, in most of the cities, the cybercrime cell is people with knowledgeable officers. Just now it is not a very popular posting, but in course of time, we all live on hopes, but I think police will have a stronger contingent of cybercrime investigators. I quite appreciate your predicament, but you possibly felt very disgusted the way they are. But from my interaction, I tell you, to be honest, I'm also a great critic of the police. My interaction with some officers, I'm amazed at their knowledge. I learned a lot from my SIT people. This use of cell phones and investigation. There's a lot of computer input. So fellows are amazing. I have learned a lot at this age. So I still hope that officers, because they're excited. If there's something new, even at the level of constabulary, they are showing a lot of interest. This has to be harnessed. I will blame senior officers for not working whole time on this. They can't just get away by saying we don't have time. Training is essential. If you train larger number of the constabulary themselves, why sub-inspectors, inspectors, constables, some of them, we have got fairly educated constables now. They're wanting to learn something new because they know that if they learn cyber security, probably if they are at any point in time in their career, if they don't want to stay in the police, they can go out and earn a decent livelihood. So while agreeing with what you say, things are improving, but it takes some more time.